Welcome to part 2 of 2021 paper 1 mathematics. If you haven't watched part 1 where we solved question 1 up to 8, I'll put the link in the description. Make sure you check it before you proceed. Question 9 today reads, a plane flying at a speed of 900 knots takes 5 hours to fly from town A to town B. Calculate the distance between the 2 points. Here, don't start panicking. Okay, common formula. Speed is equal to what? Distance over time. Okay, common formula. So our speed has been given in knots and time is given in hours. They're asking us to find time. So let us just substitute the values. Where there is a speed, we're seeing S there represents speed. So we're going to put 900. And then where there is T represents time taken. So 5 hours. Then distance is what we are calculating. Then we cross multiply. So over 1 where there is 900. Then we cross multiply. So 1 times D is D. Then 900 times 5. So 5 times 0, 0, 5 times 0, 0. Then 5 times 9, that's a 45. So 4,500 nautical miles. That is your distance. Okay? Don't forget to write it on the answer grid. We go to question 9b. Point Q on longitude 85 degrees east lies on the equator and is due east of P. The time difference between P and Q is 5 hours. Okay, calculate the longitude on which P lies. To help us calculate this question, first of all, we need to remember that formula that we normally use when you're calculating time difference. Okay, under earth geometry, there is the part where we're calculating time. Okay, so the formula is time difference. Okay, if you want to find time difference, is equal to difference in longitude divided by 15. And then others might be wondering, where is the 15 coming from? It's because after 1 hour, the earth makes 15 degrees 10. Okay, so that is why our longitudes, the difference in longitudes, we normally divide them with a 15. So calculating time, we use longitudes. Okay, so let us write down what we have. Then time difference is 5 hours. Now, another thing is that point Q and point P, these 2 points, they are on the same side of the hemisphere, okay, which is the east side, according to this question. Okay, so meaning they are on the east, despite the other one being ahead of the other, but they are on the same side of the earth, which is the east. So meaning the difference in their longitudes, so since they are on the east, okay, same pose, we're supposed to subtract the longitudes, okay. If the pose were different, if the other one was on the west, the other one was in the east, we're going to add. So now, since the longitude for P we don't know, we'll represent it with X because we don't know it. Then the longitude for Q, we know it is 85. So the difference will just say 85 minus X. That will be our difference in longitudes. Okay, so let us substitute what we have. TD, which is time difference, is 5 hours. DL is 85 minus X, which is difference in longitudes. Okay, so we have something like this. Then over 1 on the 5, then cross multiply. What are we going to have? 1 times 85 minus X, it will still be the same expression. Then 5 times 15. If we multiply 5 times 5, what do we get? 25. So 5 carry 2. 5 times this, that's a 5 plus 2, 75. So we have 85 minus X. Then this 85 needs to cross the equal sign. It has to go where the 75 is. We correct the like terms. So we'll remain with negative X on the left. 75 minus 85. Here, we're going to subtract 75 from 85 because the signs are different. Okay, and then we'll get the sign for 85 because that's the bigger number according to integers. Okay, so we have a negative 10, then over negative 1, over negative 1 on both sides because we want a positive value for X. Okay, so the final answer will be X equals to 10 degrees. This X is a longitude for P. So the final answer is longitude of P is equal to 10 degrees east. Question 10. The probability of a girl not wearing a necktie is 0.55. what is the probability that the same girl will wear a necktie? Okay, the probability of picking an event and the probability of not picking that particular event, the maximum answer or the final answer is a 1. Okay, so probability of wearing a necktie plus the probability of not wearing a necktie, the answer will be a 1. Okay, now what are we given? This is 0.55 is the probability of not wearing a necktie. So we're going to substitute it there. We'll have something like this: probability of wearing plus not wearing equals to 1. Then this positive 0.55 has to cross, needs to go where the 1 is. Okay, so we'll have something like this. Then let us subtract. So the 1 is a whole number. We'll put 2 decimal places so that we're able to subtract it nicely. So we have a 5 this side, a 5, then point, a 0. Then we cannot subtract a 5 there. So here we'll borrow a 1, we'll have a 0 there. We'll have a 9 here. And then this will be a 10. So 10 minus 5, we have a 5. And then 9 minus 5, we have a 4. Then point, 0 minus 0, we have a 0. So the final answer there is 0.45 as our final answer there. Okay. And that is the probability of wearing a necktie, 0.45. Okay. Don't forget to write on the answer grid. Then 10b, given that 8 to the power x minus 1 equals to 16, find the value of x. These exponential equations. Why are we calling them exponential? It's because the variable or the letter is on the exponent. It is on the power. So here we are going to concentrate on making the bases to be equal. Okay. So here we have 8 as the base and here we have 16 as the base. So for these bases to be equal, we can break down 8 into a base of 2. Then the power will be a 3. Okay. Because we can multiply 2 3 times to get 8. Raised to that power which was already there, the x minus 1. Okay. Then next is a 16. 16, it means we need to have similar bases or same bases. So it means we'll break it down into a base of 2 as well, but to the power of 4 to get 16. So 2 to the power 4. Let's continue simplifying. So we have an expression like this. Okay. Now this one, since the bases are equal, it means also the powers are equal. So these bases can just be cancelled and then you equate your exponents. So we have 3 open bracket x minus 1 equals to 4. Then the 3 has to be multiplied to the 2 terms that are inside the brackets. Okay. So 3 times x, that is 3x. 3 times negative 1, that is negative 3. So this is what we're going to have equals to 4. Then the 3 needs to cross the equal sign. Okay, it has to go where the 4 is. So it will be a positive there. Adding, it will be a 7. So dividing by 3 on both sides. So we'll have 7 over 3. Okay, don't leave it like this. Leave it as a mixed fraction. Okay, so the final answer is a 2, then 1 over 3. That is your final answer there. Okay, we proceed to question 11. Given that s is equal to x such that 1 is less than x, and then x is less than or equal to 15, x is a prime number. List the elements of set S. Prime numbers, these are numbers that can only be divided by 1 and the same number itself. So from this range here, we need to write down the elements up to 15. Okay, so the numbers will just be a 2, a 3, 5, 7, 11, and 13. Others might ask you, say, why is the 9 not there? In 9, 3 can go there, 9 can go there, even 1 can go there. So it doesn't qualify to be a prime number. We just need a 1 and the same number to go there. Same applies with 15. A 1 can go there, a 15 can go there, a 5 can go there, a 3 can go there. So it doesn't qualify to be a prime number. So these are the prime numbers that you are seeing here. Okay. Question 11b. The diagram below shows a right square pyramid ABCDE of base 6 centimeters and EF is 5 centimeters. Look at the diagram nicely. calculate the total surface area of triangular faces of the pyramid. Okay, so these triangles that you are seeing here, this pyramid has got 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles that are forming this pyramid. Okay, 4 triangles. So to calculate the surface area of these triangular faces, it means we have to find areas for all the 4 triangles. Now, since they are coming from a square base, okay, what it means is that even the triangles will be equal or similar in length because they're coming from a square. So if we just find the area of one triangle, it means it will be the same for all the triangles. So we'll just multiply that one with a 4. So area of a triangle is half base times height. This is the formula here. Okay, so we'll just multiply that half base times height times 4. Okay, what is our base? Our base will be a 6. Okay, what is the height? The height is this EF here you are seeing, not this line which is coming down here. This is the height for the pyramid, but the EF is the height for the triangle. Okay, substitute the values, then let us reduce the 2 and the 6, where we'll have a 3. Then multiplying 3 times 15 times 1, 3 times 5 times 1, we have what? Good, 15. So 4 times 15, what do we get? 4 times 5, that's a 20, so 0 carry 2. 4 times 1, that's a 4 plus 2, 6. So we have 60 centimeter squared as your surface area for triangular faces. Okay, we proceed. A function f is defined by f of x equals to 2x minus 5. Okay, these are functions. Find the f inverse of x. Okay, now the first step you're going to be taking, you're going to be letting f of x equals to y. So this part here, we'll say this should be equal to y. So where there is this f of x here, we're going to put a y. It will look like this. Now, our major concentration when they ask us for inverse, they are asking us to make x the subject of the formula. As it is, y is the one which is the subject of the formula. Now, we want to make x as the subject of the formula, okay? So, we'll make this 5 cross the equal sign because we just want to remain with the x there. Okay, so we'll have y plus 5 equals to 2x. Okay, then divide by 2 on both sides. Okay, so that the x can remain alone. So the final will be x equals to y plus 5 over 2. Then now you let x equals to f inverse of x. So where there is f inverse there, where there is x here, you're going to substitute with the f inverse down here. Okay, so the final answer will look like this. F inverse of x equals to, now where there is y, we'll substitute, we'll put x plus 5 over 2. It ends there. That is our final answer. That is our f inverse of x. Okay, then B, find f of f inverse of 2. F of f inverse of what? 2. Before we substitute this number which is in the brackets, first of all, we need to find a composite, a combination of these two functions here. The f function and the inverse function. So the function that has come on the second, it is the input. It means it has to be put where there is x on the f function. So the f function has got x there. So we are going to get this value that we found here, the f inverse, and we are going to substitute it here where there is x on the f function. Okay, that's the meaning there. And it will look like this, okay, when you substitute. So where there is x, we've put x plus 5 over 2. So we've put the f inverse there, okay. So we need to find that one before we can substitute a 2. So a 2 can be multiplied on top there with x and the 5. Then it will look like this, 2x plus 10 over 2 minus 5. Let's say over 1 on the 5. And then let's find the LCM, the lowest common multiple, which is a 2. A 2 into 2, that's a 1. 1 multiplying with this, they will still remain the same. 1 into 2, that's a 2. 2 times negative 5, we have a negative 10. So these two are like terms, so we can simplify. Positive 10 minus 10, that is a 2x over 2. So this is a 0 here. This is giving us a 0, so we'll have 2x over 2. If you want, you can simplify the 2 into 2 but to reduce on the cost, on the time, let us now, this is our f of f inverse of x. Now we can substitute a 2, this number which is in the brackets, on the function where there is x. Okay, so we have 2 times 2 divided by 2. 2 times 2 is a 4, divided by 2, we have a 2. So f of f inverse of 2, the answer is a 2. Okay, write it down. We go to the next. Find the value of x if f of fx is equal to x. If f of x is equal to x. Again, we have a combination of two functions here. The f and the f, the same function, okay? The same function has become an input. So the same function, we are going to substitute it where there is x. So it will look like this. Where there is x, we've put the same function, which is the f function. Okay, simplifying it, we'll have 4x minus 10, then minus 5 equals to x. Negative 10 minus 5, same signs, what do? Maintain the sign and add the two numbers. So our 4x minus 15 equals to x. Then the 15 will have to cross going on the other side. Then the x has to cross coming the other side as well. Okay, so we'll have 4x minus x equals to 15. Then we'll have 3x equals to 15 over 3, because we want to remain with x over 3. So this and this will give us a 1. 1 times x will just be x. 3 into 15 is a 5. So the final answer there is x equals to 5. Okay. You go to question 13. The diagram below shows two figures P and Q on the diagram on the x or y plane. Okay. Describe fully the single transformation that maps P onto Q. Looking at these two, they just look as if the other one has flipped on the other side. They looks in the opposite direction as the other shape. But if you look at the size of this shape and this shape, the same. Okay. If you look at the shape, still the same. So this type of transformation whereby it looks in the opposite direction, this is reflection. Okay. Now reflection happens in the mirror. Okay. It simply means they should be where the mirror is standing. Why am I saying that? It's because if you as a person, you're checking or looking at yourself in the mirror, if you are standing 3 centimeters away from the mirror, it means even the image that will be formed behind that mirror will be 3 centimeters from the mirror. Okay. So that concept is very important. It means the image and the object, they are standing at the same distance away from the mirror. Okay. So if you look at this, this is 1 unit from here to this particular point. Again, it is 1 unit from here to this particular point. So this simply means this line here, which is cutting the two, this is what we call as the mirror line. Now, for you to describe fully the transformation, 1, you have to state the name of the transformation. 2, you're going to talk about the mirror line. Okay. So this simply means it is a reflection in the line of y equals to 2, because this is cutting the y-axis on 2. Okay. We go to question B, 13b. Given that y is equal to 2x to the power 3 minus 4 over x to the power 2, find dy dx. Finding dy dx simply means find the derivative or find the differentiation or differentiate. Okay, now to differentiate, you have to understand to say if I have something like this, nx to the power a, okay, what will happen is this power on the x will be multiplied to the coefficient, so it will be n times a, okay, then that power on the x will reduce by 1. It means you have differentiated there. Okay. So let us differentiate this one. Now, before we differentiate, what will happen is this x has to go on the numerator for us to be able to differentiate. Okay. Now, the property there is that when a letter comes from, a term comes from the denominator to the numerator, the power has to be given a negative. Okay. So x to the power negative 2 when it goes on the numerator. Now we can differentiate. So the power is a 3 here on the first term. Okay, so this 3 will be multiplied to 2, and the same 3 on the power will reduce by 1. Then here the power on the second term is a negative 2. So this negative 2 will be multiplied to negative 4. Then the same negative 2 will reduce by 1. Okay, so 2 times 3, that's a 6. Then 3 minus 1, that's a 2. So we'll have 6x to the power 2. Then here negative 4 times negative 2, we'll have a positive 8. Then same signs here on the power, negative 2 minus 1. We'll maintain the sign and then we'll add the two numbers, so we'll have negative 3. So positive 8x to the power negative 3. This is not the final answer. Remember, it has a negative. We want a positive value on the final answer. So this x has to go back where? To the denominator for us to have a positive on that power. So it will look like this. Okay, so that is our final answer. Okay, we proceed to question 14. The diagram below shows 3 points O, A, and B, in which OB is equal to AB. Okay, given that the bearing of A from O is 030 degrees and the angle ABO is equal to 40 degrees, calculate the bearing of B from A. B from A. First of all, let us draw the north lines on all the points. Okay, now next is to look at our property of a shape that has been given. In this case, this triangle that has been given is an isosceles triangle because it has two sides that are equal. Meaning these two angles down here, they are going to be equal. Okay, that is the property of isosceles triangle. Okay, so now finding these two angles, it is not a difficult thing. Let us find them because they will help us to calculate whatever we want to calculate there. So we'll just subtract 40 from the total. Okay, all the internal angles in a triangle, they add up to 180. So when we subtract a 40 from 180, the remaining degree, we are going to share it between these two because they are equal. Okay, so 140 divided by 2, we have a 70. So inside here, I have a 70. Okay, even here, we have a 70 here. But now, the bearing that we want is not this. The bearing we want, it is this. This is the bearing that we are looking for. Okay, this arrow that I'm showing, that is the bearing of B from A. Okay, now for us to find this angle, it means we need this particular angle here. Okay, so that we subtract this angle from 180, then the remaining will be this angle that we want. Okay, now check the way we're going to solve it. Okay, so from here now, what we're going to do is to apply certain rules now here. Okay, which are the rules of parallel lines. Okay, these two are parallel lines. Okay, so it means alternate angles will be equal. It means inside here I have a 30. Now, since this entire angle here is a 70, I cannot fail to find this. Okay, it means we'll just say 70 minus what? 30. Okay, where we're going to get what? Good, a 40. So it means an angle that we want here, this is a 40 here. Okay, so when we say 30 plus 40, we have a 70. Now we can find this angle here. Because this is a straight line, and angles in a straight line, they add up to 180. Okay, so we'll just say the 40, we'll subtract it from 180. Okay, then whatever will remain, 140, it means that's the angle that we are looking for, this angle here. Okay, so the bearing of B from A is 140 degrees. We proceed. We calculate the bearing of O from B. The bearing of O from where? B. So the letter that comes after the word from, it means that is where you're starting to measure your angle. So the letter is a B. So on the north line, we go in the clockwise direction until we meet the line which is connecting O and B. We stop. So this is the angle that we are looking for from here up to here. Okay. Now this back bearing is very easy to solve because already you know one angle here. If you hide out, for instance, let me just paint out one part here. Okay. This part here. Okay. This part here. You've seen the part that I'm painting? So this is the angle that we already know. Do you know what angle is this? This is coming from a straight line. So it means this is already what? 180. Good. So now we are remaining with one angle that we haven't solved. Okay. And that angle is which one? This angle here. The green angle that I'm going to paint green here. This is the angle that we are looking for again now. Okay. That's the angle that we are looking for. Now, the red angle here. Okay. It's very easy. Okay. How am I saying it's very easy? It's because it's in a straight line. So it's what? 180. Plus this angle now that we don't know. Okay. This angle that we don't know now, here up to there. Now, this can be solved in two ways. Okay. At times, we can use this side here. This angle here. This and this are alternate angles. This angle here and this angle here, they are alternate because of the parallel lines that you are seeing there. Okay. So the answer there will be, here we have a 40. Okay. Here we have a 40. Okay. Because this and this, they are alternating. Okay. Then the other alternative is, have you seen this entire angle here? Here. This angle here is equal to this angle that we are looking for. Okay. There are two ways. So we can just add 30 plus 70 is what? 100. So this is 100. Or we can say 40 plus 40, it's 80. Now this entire line here is a straight line on my left. So we can just subtract 80 from 180, then we get the answer here. Okay. So let us go with that way. So 180 minus 80 is 100. So this part here, this angle that we are looking for is what? 100. Okay. So plus 100. So adding that will give us 280 degrees. So the bearing of O from B is 280 degrees. Okay, thank you very much guys for watching up to this end. If you're new to this channel, or you make sure that you subscribe, don't forget to share. Please share the video and like it, comment where necessary, comment and request for questions. In case you need